The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are beginning with the cop killer, Guy Rivera. I hope you enjoyed your fake short-term victory of beating the murder charge. But, Mr. Rivera, I guess you forgot the jury did convict you in Queens, New York, in terms of manslaughter, and you have been sentenced to 115 years in prison. And from the bottom of my heart, I sincerely hope that each day for you is torture and the worst experience that any human being can tolerate. I hope that's your experience each and every day for the next whatever amount of years that you live, but every 24 hours, I hope that is the cycle for you. The First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump, calling it as it is, blasting that coward Jimmy Kimmel, and that's exactly what she's calling him. We did the story. As soon as I heard about this, we did this at midnight last night. I knew what was going to be brewing as it relates to this situation. So we're going to deal with what happened Saturday night at the Correspondents' Dinner, and also here in New York City, a man a year ago, bodega owner, told a local TV station that he was concerned for his life with the crime and the shoplifting. Well, guess what? That man has been killed, and even Elon Musk tweeting about that. Dominic Carter here with you, folks. We see every line is lit up right now, but the number to reach me is 800-848-9222. Now, there is one caller in particular, number 5. I don't know how many times I can say this. I will never, ever take your telephone call. So you are wasting a line, and let's clear him of this line so that we can get a caller that makes sense. You will never in your life be on with me. Period. End of story. 800-848-9222. Jimmy Kimmel, who's not funny at all. Jimmy Kimmel. Let's rewind. So he does a skit, supposed to be funny. He's never funny. This is before the Correspondents' Dinner. And in the audience, he has Melania Trump, the First Lady, the President of the United States. This is all a skit. This is in advance of what happened on Saturday. So you talk about bad timing. For Jimmy Kimmel, the timing does not get any worse. But that's why I have always said he's not funny. For a comedian, it's all about timing. And you, idiot, joked about something that could have come true a day or two later. This is Jimmy Kimmel allegedly calling himself funny, directing his comments at the First Lady of the United States of America.
Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
So, an expected widow. What if someone said that about your wife if you're married, Jimmy Kimmel? I think you are. What if somebody said that about your mother? You have the glow of an expected widow. You are pathetic and disgusting. I get it. You know that your 15 minutes of fame is over and you're trying to ride this wave as long as you can. But it's disgusting. The First Lady tweeting Kimmel's hateful and violent rhetoric is intended to divide our country. His monologue about my family isn't comedy. His words are corrosive and deepens the political sickness within America. The First Lady, 1,000% correct. This is how Fox News covered this.
Right now, the First Lady, Melania Trump, apparently calling on ABC to fire Jimmy Kimmel. This appears to be in response to a segment that Kimmel aired days before the White House Correspondents' Dinner. In that segment, Kimmel said the First Lady had the glow of a, quote, expectant widow. And now we have this response. The First Lady writing on X the following, quote, Kimmel's hateful and violent rhetoric is intended to divide our country. His monologue about my family is not comedy. His words are corrosive and deepens the political sickness within America. It is time for ABC to take a stand. How many times will ABC's leadership enable Kimmel's atrocious behavior at the expense of our community? End quote.
Now let's keep it real, America. If ABC did the same type of skit about Obama, how long do you think that would be tolerated? A New York minute. Bye-bye. You would be gone. We all know why. We don't even have to state it. You did that same skit about Obama. Bye-bye. About precious First Lady Michelle Obama. Bye-bye. But Jimmy Kimmel would never do that. He takes the luxury to do it against President Trump because he thinks he can continue to make his sorry career off the back of the President of the United States of America. To show you the type of man. So the nut is arraigned a few hours ago in this situation from Saturday night to show you the character of the President of the United States. This is yet, the third attempt on his life? What does he do the next morning? He calls up the reporters that were at the White House Correspondents' Dinner to make sure that they are okay.
John, your phone rang early this morning?
Yeah, my phone rang shortly after 7 a.m. My landline, George, actually a number that few people call, and it was President Trump calling. He said at first he was calling to see if I was okay with what happened last night. Are you okay? And then he reiterated many of the things he said in his press conference last night, emphasizing the unity that he felt in that moment, that he felt at the dinner before the shooting and certainly after with the people who reached out to him. And he said absolutely, and he was quite firm about this, that dinner must be rescheduled. It must be rescheduled. He knows that I was a former president of the White House Correspondents Association and had worked with him on a dinner that never actually happened back during COVID. And he was saying, we've got to get this dinner back on. It has to happen.
And so the president is going to go forth with this event, and that's a good thing. But I think it's safe to say that we may not ever see again the president, vice president, and House Speaker in the same room. It could have been a total disaster, but as I said on the Midnight Show, there was never a possibility of this nut even getting near the room, even near the president. They would have scattered his brains right there at the door if he got that close with the sharpshooters. The president's lead body man would have issued the shoot to kill shot, the command, and that would have been it. Game over for this nut job. What's his name? Carl Allen, whatever his name may be. Photogenic family in California. Whatever's in the dark shall come to light. I hope you're proud of yourself, nut job. The pressure and what's going to happen to your family now because of what you tried to do to the president of the United States. Friday was supposed to be Caroline Leavitt's last day at the White House. She's expected to deliver her second child. I believe it's her second child any minute now. But because of all this nonsense, showed up to work today.
As I told many of you on Friday afternoon, I thought that would be my last time taking your questions until after my maternity leave. But given the attempted assassination of the president and, quote, top Trump administration officials, as the depraved shooter noted in his manifesto at the White House Correspondents Association dinner on Saturday evening, I felt it was prudent to be here today to answer your questions and inform the American people about how the administration is responding to yet another attempt on President Trump's life.
And so, Caroline Leavitt. So we're about to start with your telephone calls. If you're trying to get through, just wait a minute or two and then hit redial. I want you to hear the other controversy. This was my lead at midnight. Laura O'Donnell, right? CBS, 60 Minutes, did something despicable. All of us journalists have done this. I try not to do it. You hide behind the words. You're a coward, and you hide behind the words of someone else to go after a newsmaker. She tried to make her career, her dying career, which is on life support. She tried to save her career last night on 60 Minutes at the expense of the president of the United States. But it blew up in her face.
So-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it he writes this quote, administration officials, they are targets. And he also wrote this, I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people. Horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person. I got associated with all stuff that has nothing to do with me. I was totally exonerated. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones that were involved with, let's say, Epstein or other things. But I said to myself, I'll do this interview and I read the manifesto. He's a sick person. But you should be ashamed of yourself reading that because I'm not any of those things.
Mr. President,
and
these are
never,
the gunman's words.
Excuse me. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead. Let's finish the interview.
The other thing that he wrote in the other thing in the manifesto.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's what you call check and mate. I want to start with your telephone calls, but speaking in D.C. right now, we're going to take you live. The Justice Department, their news conference, the acting Attorney General Todd Blanche is speaking right now. Let's join in.
10 years is consecutive to any other sentence imposed. Just to go through very quickly the timeline, which many of you in this room already know. The defendant, Allen, made a hotel reservation at the Washington Hilton for April 24th through April 26th. On April 21st of this year, he traveled by train from Los Angeles to Chicago and then from Chicago to Washington, D.C. On April 24th, he arrived in Washington, D.C. at approximately 1 o'clock in the afternoon and checked into the Washington Hilton. Approximately at 8:40 on the night of April 25th, Allen approached a security checkpoint on the terrace level of the hotel, which is, again, a floor above where the dinner was taking place. He ran through the magnetometer holding a long gun. As he did so, U.S. Secret Service personnel assigned to the checkpoint heard a loud gunshot. One Secret Service officer was shot in the chest, but was wearing a ballistic vest that worked. This heroic officer who was hit fired 5 times at Allen, who was not shot, but fell to the ground and was promptly arrested. I want to thank everybody who worked tirelessly on Saturday, Sunday, and continuing today. This includes
we are monitoring the Attorney General, acting Attorney General's news conference. We've got to take a break, and we are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are about to start with your telephone calls, but Jimmy Kimmel, you really are a piece of, you really are. See, some people may forget, but it's my job to not forget. Remember, I'm not going to make light of the situation with your son. Remember you got before America, boo-hoo, because your son had to have, I believe, heart surgery, right? America felt compassion with you. Right? But now you do this skit in advance of what almost happened, messing with the First Lady of the United States, messing with this man's wife. There are certain things, you know this, Jimmy Kimmel, that are untouchable. But you're trying to save your sorry-ass career that is dead. And so you're trying to ride this Trump train as long as you can. And then when they can you turn around and say, oh, I got fired because I went after Trump. I'm suing. You really are a piece of shit. I'm sorry. Oh, am I not supposed to say that, Carlos? I'm sorry. You just turned red. You just turned beet red. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, America. I hope I was beeped out. Let's start with some of your telephone calls. Patrick, line 1, New Jersey. What's on your mind, Patrick?
Hi, Dominic. And what you said is true. Jimmy Kimmel is a piece of garbage. He has no ratings. And I don't know why ABC keeps him on.
Right.
I mean,
well, they
really,
don't want to be sued. They don't want to be sued. Their hands are a little tied. The moment they fire him, he's going to sue, claiming First Amendment violation.
right. And he never had ratings. Remember when he first started? He was on a show called Win Ben Stein's Money.
I don't remember. I don't follow his career that much. But go ahead. He was a straight man.
Yeah, Ben Stein was, I guess, the creator, whatever, you know. And I don't know. It lasted a couple of years, and then you never heard of Jimmy Kimmel until he got onto ABC.
Right, and tried to ride the Trump train as long as he could. Patrick, thank you for the call. Now I know why you guys in the control room just turned beet red. I wasn't supposed to say that term there. Okay, your hands started flaring all up in the air. Let's go to Judith, line 5 in Brooklyn. What's on your mind, Judith?
So that was perfect. Okay, listen, Dominic, what's on my mind? Thank you. Well, a few things. Jimmy Kimmel, power of suggestion, very, very dangerous. Look at the audience. They laughed. It's just incredible. But you need to replace every woman on The View, because these people on The View are just, what shall I tell you? The same word you said before, I'm going to apply to them, okay? Their rhetoric is part of the problem. They are vile. And their comments are vile, and they're irresponsible. They need to be replaced. And, Dominic, you know what gets me when I saw that shooter run through? I didn't see much. I saw the shooter. Number one, how is this open space so open and they're ignoring him? He's running through. But then, did you notice every single agent ran after him, left that area open? And what if, that's irresponsible to me, because what if there was a second shooter that this guy was like running, and then the second shooter is going to go in a direction they don't know, and that could have really been very dangerous.
Judith, I love you. This is not Hollywood. Nobody, your premise is correct. No one would have gotten near. That's the first layer. Once you get to that door, there are several other layers of security. Once you open that door, you have sharpshooters set up that will take you out. So that would not have happened. The president was not in any danger. But this idiot, I just hope that he gets 300 years in prison. Folks, we see your telephone calls. I've got to take a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche right now live in D.C. is talking about political violence and the rhetoric, a message that's also being shared from the White House. So on Friday, it was supposed to be Caroline Leavitt's last day, maternity leave, until she delivers her next child. She's at the White House today because of what happened on Saturday, and she's actually naming names, dropping dimes on the Democrats that are doing this worst thing possible ever against President Trump.
It's not just the media, it is the entire Democrat Party has made their pitch to voters across the country that Donald Trump poses an existential threat to democracy, that he is a fascist, and that they compare him to Hitler. I mean, these are despicable statements that the American people have been consuming for years. And so many mentally perturbed individuals are led to believe these words are truth and then are inspired to act on it. I have a whole host of examples that we can share with you after. It is pages and pages of major Democrat Party elected officials saying, such as Rep. Hakeem Jeffries just this month said, "We are in an era of maximum warfare everywhere all the time." Governor Josh Shapiro said heads need to roll within the administration. Senator Alex Padilla said people are, quote, dying because of fear and terror caused by the Trump administration. Senator Elizabeth Warren, President Trump is making the country look like a, quote, fascist state. Senator Adam Schiff saying President Trump using a dictator playbook. Senator Ed Markey calling President Trump a dictator, saying that this administration's actions are authoritarianism on steroids. Governor J.B. Pritzker, never before in my life have I called for mass protest disruptions. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. You have Rep. Presley saying, "We'll see you in the streets." Rep. Monica McIver, a Democrat representative on Capitol Hill, "We will not take this shit from Donald Trump. He thinks he's a dictator. We are at war." These are Democrat elected officials calling for war against the President of the United States and his supporters. I could go on and on, but again, when you have people in positions of power that are saying things like this every single day for years, you are inspiring violence by people who are already mentally ill. And that's what we've seen against this president for far too long.
The press secretary coming in to work today, when Friday was supposed to be her last day for maternity leave, she could deliver that baby at any moment, but found it necessary to come in because of the circumstances. And this stuff is so horrendous. I haven't even had time to focus on the bodega owner that a year ago predicted that he would lose his life to shoplifting or to crime. And that is exactly what has happened a year later. I haven't even had time to focus on that. But when the press secretary, Carolyn Leavitt, is focusing on this hatred from the left, and we're not going to play this whole thing, the women of The View, Anna Navarro, this lady has got the brains of a pea, a pod, whatever term you want to use. And the last place she should be is on television, right? But DEI, right? Listen to what this clown has to say.
It's odd to me that in a place that is teeming with Secret Service, with Washington, D.C. police, with all sorts of law enforcement, this could happen. But also, I think people jump to that conclusion that it is staged because Trump lies. He lies constantly, daily, and pathologically. So people do not trust and do not believe anything Trump says. His lips are moving. The likelihood is he is lying. Also, this is a man who has mastered the art, forget the art of the deal. He has mastered the art of distraction. Anytime he finds himself in hot water, his numbers right now are down in the basement.
I can't take it anymore. I can't take it. That's enough of her. I can't take that. She's suggesting that this thing might have been staged. This lady, what are your qualifications, Anna Navarro? The acting attorney general, Todd Blanche, right now answering questions live. We're going to get back to your telephone calls. Answering questions live in Washington. Let's join in.
That Trump will no longer need to venture beyond the safety of the White House perimeter. Just engaging with those lines, was there an assessment in advance of the dinner that the Hilton was demonstrably unsafe? And if so, why was President Trump allowed to attend it? And then separately, just the idea that by building the ballroom that President Trump wouldn't need to go outside of the confines of the White House. I mean, is that something that the American people, should find acceptable, that the president would have to be, for major events, confined to the White House? It seems like kind of a castle situation.
That is obviously not what he means by that. And the fact that question comes with respect to President Trump is laughable in the extreme. I mean, laughable in the extreme. You have a president who willingly speaks with you guys multiple times a day, I would say 7 days a week. He is active all over the country. I think with that, keeping it to the four corners of that statement, when he says demonstrably, it's demonstrated by what happened on Saturday night. So that doesn't mean that the Secret Service would ever let the president go into an unsafe environment. I know that the director of the Secret Service will be focused on making sure that we always keep him safe. And by the way, as we said before, and as anybody that was in that room knows, we were safe. We were safe. We heard a lot of loud noises that at the time many of us thought could be guns going off. It was mostly plates falling because of the staff, understandably, were running. So my reaction to that is I'll leave anything with respect to security up to the great men and women of the Secret Service. But when we talk about having an environment like the ballroom, it's an environment like what you saw last night. So an environment where you have a unique blend of cabinet members, leadership of this country, leadership of Congress, reporters and members of the public coming together for an event like that. That's different than other public-facing situations, which I have no doubt President Trump will continue to do, as he said he would on Saturday night.
Thank you. Is there, for FBI Director Patel, is there any other credible threats at this time related to events in the city, including King Charles, and then separately, the manifesto? I don't really want to give too much weight to this. did mention your name in it as someone that they maybe were not targeting. Do you want to kind of elaborate on that, and then also the political motivations there?
As to the latter, no. As to the former, the FBI and the interagency is constantly evaluating intelligence provided to us by interagency collection methods. Our partners in the federal and state and local levels, we are constantly relaying that information to the White House, to the Attorney General, to the United States Attorney, specifically here in D.C., and we will always assess each piece of intelligence and base it on the credibility that it was received and give it the due weight that it has. But as the U.S. Attorney has stated, and as President Trump's task force for Washington, D.C. has shown, we have reduced crime in this city by historic levels, and we will continue to do so. And we will continue to safeguard the men and women that call.
And so we are listening to the FBI Director Kash Patel live in D.C. We're monitoring the news conference. But right now, I want to get back to your telephone calls. Let's go to line 2, Joe and Ronkonkoma. Joe, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic.
Hi,
Dominic,
go ahead, please.
Yes. I was wondering if, when that manifesto was read, if the press was actually targeted, how things would be. What would the reaction be? But if there were protesters outside these journalists' homes.
Wait, Joe, I don't know exactly what you're asking. I need you to be a little more direct.
Well, we all assume that it was the president and his administration being targeted. What if he was actually targeting the press?
But in the manifesto, he says who he was targeting. That's why I don't understand your question. He wanted Trump administration officials.
Yes, but it's a hypothetical question because a lot of people don't like the press. And I was wondering if they were the target, what the reaction would be.
The reaction from whom? Joe, I'm having a hard time understanding what you're trying to say. Well, are you asking me, would the press make as much emphasis on the manifesto? I don't understand exactly what you're asking.
Yeah, no, I wanted to know, what the reaction would be if they were targeted. If
from whom? The reaction from
what the conversation would be like today.
From whom? From the media?
Actually targeting the press.
I'm sorry, Joe. I'm not getting it because so let's say the media was targeted. Some organizations would go with it. Some organizations wouldn't. It depends on what it said. It depends on how bad it made their individual organization look. Those are all factors that would come into play. Let's go to line 1. John in Floral Park, New York. What's on your mind, John?
Thank you for the call, Dominic. Just a quick correction. You said that Jimmy Kimmel was a piece of you-know-what. Well, he's not a piece of anything. He's the whole stinky thing, Dominic. Every time you think that they can get to a new low, they seem to outdo themselves, the whole news agency.
All of us in this business, I'm going to be honest with you, John, we want to get paid, right? All of us, right? Who doesn't? What American doesn't? I couldn't live with myself doing what Jimmy Kimmel is doing. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. How low can you go? What if somebody starts making jokes about your ill son that had to have surgery? That's off limits. But Trump, his family, and the First Lady, they're not? I don't think so. Thank you very much for the call. Let's go to Larry, line 2 in Tampa, Florida. What's on your mind, Larry?
Hi, Mr. Carter. You're a sterler interviewer. And being such, I would think that you would try to get in touch with this Anna Navarro and ask her how she's established that Trump lies. And on what basis has she established that Trump lies? How does she know that?
I hear you, Larry. I wouldn't reach out to her because she knows that I would eat her for breakfast. And we live in a society where you run to a podcast that has the politics of what your points of view are. So she's going to continue running to friendly podcasts where they're not going to ask her any real questions. I maybe I'll reach out, but I severely doubt that she would come on with me because she would look and find out my reputation of dealing with Hillary Clinton, the Bloombergs, and everybody else, the Bill Clintons, and she would run. I don't see, she would be a fool to come on with me. because you folks have never even seen my interviewing styles when I'm serious and when I dig in and when I go in full throttle. She wouldn't last for 2 minutes here. Let's go to Marco, line 5, New Jersey. What's on your mind, Marco?
Yeah, I went to that Trump rally in New York City back a couple years ago, and then I think all that stuff happened where he got shot in the ear. But my question is, how do we, after all that's happened, how do people still show up to these events wherever he's at? Because he's a liability, man. You can't put yourself in danger like that, or put any. You got to be in a cult to be wanting to go and put your family.
Marco, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, man? I'm seriously concerned. What is wrong with you?
I'm just concerned about how people put themselves in danger.
Marco, what is wrong with you? Are you on psychiatric medications? Are you on psychiatric medication? What is wrong with you?
Is he not a liar? 3 times.
What is wrong with you? Why do you call up with this hatred? Why? And see, I almost said something else I'm not supposed to say. I'll just say I'm the dummy. I almost said something else. I'm the one that takes your phone call. I guess I'm a glutton for punishment because I'm waiting for the one day that you make sense and that you're not hating on somebody. Are you on psychiatric medications?
Would you take your family to a Trump rally nowadays?
Absolutely. Absolutely. With the great men and women of the Secret Service? Absolutely. But you didn't answer my question. Are you on psychiatric medications?
We already lost one person, an innocent victim.
Okay, so you're not going to answer it. All right. Okay, you're done. Thank you. Let's go to Victor, line 3, Silver Spring, Maryland. What's on your mind, Victor?
Hey, Dominic. The Secret Service needs to pay James Carville a little visit. I've heard his diatribes. He said,
wait. I got to take a break in a few. What has he said to warrant a Secret Service visit?
Well, he needs to be reined in.
Okay, first of all, you don't think James Carville knows how far to go? You don't think, being a consultant, that he knows how far to go with the process? You know, there are certain things that you have a First Amendment right to say. That's why I'm asking you, what has Carville said that crosses the line? Because I don't know.
Needs to be taken out.
No, you're not answering my question. What has Carville said that crosses the line?
He's making a threat against his life.
What did he say? I gotta take a break, sir, for the 5th time. What did Carville say?
Trump needs to be taken out.
That's not a direct threat. It depends on how it's said. People like Carville know that's open to interpretation. He could have set it up prior to that saying to lose the election. I don't know. I didn't hear the conversation. It depends on the context of where he's playing to people like you, Victor, to get you all upset, to call people like me. Carville knows how far to go and when to pull back. Time for a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And the Tunnel to Towers Foundation final thoughts of the day. I'm going to punt so that I can get to as many calls from you folks. Let's go to line 1, Sarah, Syosset, New York. Line 1, Sarah, what's on your mind?
Yeah, hey, how you doing?
Good.
Since you have a lot of knowledge, do you think that the Secret Service is being blackmailed in any way, and they are intentionally not doing a good job protecting the president and his wife and everybody else?
So wait, Sarah, let me ask you this respectfully. What did they do wrong Saturday night?
Well, okay, they were not checking IDs. People were not having their purses checked. They did not check tickets. People were just kind of going in.
No, I doubt that. Sarah, I doubt that highly. I'm not saying that everything you said is false. But you got to understand, this is a power crowd. And I know you're saying the president's security, and you're correct. But this is the elite of the elitist crowd, the media, right? We all pretend that we're a man of the people, but that's simply not the truth. This is a power crowd, major names on television, and nobody wants to stop and wait. And the Secret Service is aware of that. So they're trying to move people through as fast as possible. I know nothing excuses in terms of the president's security, but I just don't see what they did wrong at all. I just don't see it. So one more time, Sarah, tell me in your mind what they did specifically wrong.
Okay, well, I've read many accounts online of people who've gone through that, felt that the security was very lax. And my question to you is, do you think there is any blackmail going on?
No, President Trump handpicked the director of the Secret Service, his guy that's been with him. Handpicked. So I don't see the blackmail. I just don't see it. I think, Sarah, this is my honest opinion, and I know it's not the popular opinion, right? If you want to fault them for anything, it was the first layer of security, and that's it. That's how he was able to run through it. I said this at midnight. So having been a guest at the White House several times, you can't even get near the building until you go through several layers of security. So if we're going to say that something went wrong, it's because of that there should have been, before you get to the main gate to come in, if you will. It wasn't a gate, you know what I'm trying to say, a check-in, that there should have been another one. So in other words, if he ran through the first one, they're on guard for the second one. But I'm going to say what I said at midnight. Believe me when I tell you, and those little earpieces, the moment he ran through, the lead body man for President Trump is notified. And at that point, that individual is making the calls. And that individual, if this nut got near that door, his brains would have been splattered all over the floor. There's no way he would have got in that room to get close to the president. The sharpshooters would have taken him out. You saw what happened. All of those SWAT officers within seconds that came from behind the stage and got in front of President Trump. I hear you, Sarah, and I know others are saying different, but having been around the Secret Service a long time, I just don't see where they dropped the ball here. The guy ran past, and see, folks, what we're not dealing with, and thank you for the great call, Sarah. Nobody's being honest. The truth is the media are the elite of the elite, and no one wants to wait, and the Secret Service is aware of that. And so if I can criticize my own industry, we feel rules for thee, not the rules for thee. So we want to hurry up and get in. Quickly, let's see here. Let's go to line 2. David in Great Neck. David, you got 15 seconds. I'm sorry. That's all I have left.
Yeah, I just was wondering why you keep calling it a nut job. The guy isn't, he's not convicted, and I just was
okay. Thank you for the call. Go back in your mommy's closet and have her make dinner for you, folks. America's heroes need your help now. Do good in their honor by donating $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers, and you can amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org. T2T.org. I am back live at midnight with the very latest Eastern Time.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?